Greetings from Leiden University. My name is Tom Liefvaart and I'm Professor of Children's Rights at Leiden Law School. I hold the UNICEF Chair in Children's Rights at Leiden University, and in 2015, we have founded the International Children's Rights Advanced LL.M program. This year, in 2025, we celebrate its 10th anniversary, and that is a unique opportunity for us to reconnect to the many alumni that have participated in our program over the years. And they are scattered around the world. So it's a great opportunity for us to learn more about how they are doing and to take them back to Leiden to share a bit of their reflections, also to prospective students. And today I have the great pleasure to reconnect with Cristy. Cristy, wonderful to see you again. Could you briefly introduce yourself?
My name is Cristy Huayamave. I'm from Ecuador. I'm a lawyer, and I study in Leiden from 2016 to 2017.
So you were one of the first batches of students, so to say. Really good to see you again. We've tried to keep up with your rich career since graduation. But before we go there, can you say a bit more about why you actually decided to enroll in the program? What inspired you, and what actually made you come to Leiden?
Well, my whole life, I work with children rights. I was working with children in street situations, marginalized children, refugee children. But my background was law. So when I was trying to find a master's, many of the masters I found regarding children's rights were focused on social science. And I really want to have something regarding human rights and all the international standards and even the regional standards. So when I was looking for this, was the first master I found. It was an LLM. And actually, when I found the master, it was with the first generation. It was 10 years ago. So when I found that, I said to myself, this is what I really want. It's really everything that I need, because I really wanted to be able to understand which are the international standards regarding children and human rights in general. So that's pretty much why I really wanted. I thought when I check all the program, I feel like it was everything I wanted. It was tackling all the topics I wanted, not only from a social perspective, because I'm a lawyer and I wanted to be able to apply the legal part of this beautiful area. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's very clear. And I remember that very well, particularly in the first years that there were students like yourself particularly motivated to do the LLM and the Master of Laws program. And yes, that's also a deliberate choice from our side. So wonderful to hear. Can you tell us a bit more about what you do at the moment and what you have done over the years?
Well, actually, after I graduate, I remember having this conversation with you about what I want to do when I was traveling to Ecuador, and you recommend me to see the UNHCR work in Ecuador. And I told you, well, maybe it's impossible because it was quite difficult. But when I come back, I applied as you recommend me, and I got the position. I was working at the borders of Ecuador and Peru regarding attending children, refugee children, migrant children, unaccompanied children. And it was a wonderful experience to tackle all the situation we have in general in the Latin American region, with the Venezuelan situation, with the Colombia situation. We have a lot of refugees. And for me, it was really important to bring on the table all the children's rights issues, because sometimes when you have this kind of situation, children are missed in all the problematic, and the particular rights and the particular needs are not being tackled. So for me, it was really important to put over the table. We have a lot of unaccompanied children during this difficult migrant influx from Venezuela in Ecuador. And after that, this is a really good experience, but I hold the position as the director of adoption in Ecuador. I was also the central authority for the Hague Convention for Intercountry Adoption. And the reason why they picked me was because when they checked my CV, my thesis was about intercountry adoption. And that's what made them to decide for me when they were assessing different people for the position. And I was able to work with someone who studied with me, who was one of my classmates, because she was working at that time in the Hague conference. So it was a really excellent experience. Thank you for bringing that on the table, because I think usually we don't think how important can be our thesis and all the work that we invest in that. And that position allows me to hold after that. I was able to work in the Inter-American Commission in a particular project on the right to family. And that position, I got it because I had experience with the adoption system and all the children deprived of family care and parental care. So I worked almost 2 years in the Inter-American Commission in the rapporteur of the rights of the child. And right now I'm working as a consultant in the American Commission in a particular issue which is affecting many countries across the world. It's not only in the Latin American region, it's the retrogressive measures affecting children's rights. I think it's a really topical issue right now, all the things that we are going back. So right now I'm doing that. It has been a wonderful work because I'm literally assessing many topics affecting children in the region, but also in other countries, and how the political issues can affect directly the life of millions of children, not only in Latin America, but in the world. So also I'm a professor, well, I'm a teacher of family law in Ecuador, because I really feel like there is a responsibility to bring the children's rights on the table. Usually when you assess the programs of law in my country, they don't always tackle children's rights. It's not a priority. And for me, it was always a priority to study that, even though it was not always part of the plans at the university. So that's why even if it's a general family law, I always bring a the specificity of children's rights. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, wonderful, Cristy. And it's so interesting to hear how diverse your career has been also since graduation. And that's also because of you, because you make things happen. But you also gave many examples already on how the program impacted basically also your career. So from focus on the refugee children to intercountry adoption, which is, of course, from a children's rights perspective, also a difficult and very challenging topic. And it's also, by some countries pushed back. And then also work for the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, and currently on regression, which is a serious issue, which we also teach about in the Advanced LL.M today. So thank you also for showing that. If you position yourself in a student that might consider this program, what would be your recommendation? Maybe also related to how the program impacted your work since graduation.
I think that one of the most important things that I learned from the master is sometimes we can learn from other regions. Before I was able to study the master, I always think only in Latin American region, but when I was there, I learned from the European experiences, from the Asian experiences, and I think sometimes you think that what you have learned from your own job is not enough, or it's not good enough for the masters, or it's not good enough for what you can share at the masters. And I think that your classmates and during the different activities that you are doing the masters, you understand how important, how your work can impact also in the learning of your classmates, and how the work that they have done also impact in the perspective that you have. I remember before going to the master, I knew that corporal punishment was wrong, but I didn't understand why. And I remember having the first class and putting on the table, because still in Latin American, it's really accepted, the corporal punishment. And the first day of the class, I put on the table this topic, why corporal punishment should be banished in general, when you still can have a normal life surviving these kind of situations. And I remember how I was open to hear different opinions in a topic, and how the information I received helped me through all my career to understand that because when we are going back to our jobs in real life, you're going to have different opinions, people from different backgrounds, and it's really it's a life learning to see how when you are discussing from different opinions and from different backgrounds, you can really build a more sustainable decisions, a more sustainable programs, a more sustainable politics that can help better children, you know, like, so I grew up a lot with a master, not only knowledge, but also how to push children rights, you know, like in real life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so nice to hear that reflection. Yeah, and you also stayed in touch with your fellow students since then. But what would be your recommendation to students who might consider doing this?
Well, I think it's important when you are assessing what would you like to do, what is the next step in your career. It's important that you review the program. If it's what you really want, you have to know that this is a really that you have to invest time, like a lot of time and a lot of responsibility in the master, because sometimes when we decide to that is a really intense program, that's for sure, and you're gonna invest 1 year studying and learning and giving a lot of time in this. So my recommendation is that you really read the program if it's what you want, if it's really fulfilling the goals that you want for your career. And also I think it's important that you assess if it's why you want for your future. So sometimes we decide the programs for the title, and I'm really it's really important maybe that you, if you're not sure, you have conversation with people who have studied a master already, that you can talk to them, what they're working, what they're doing. So maybe if it's something that you want. Also, I think it's really important when you check the thesis that have been written by them. So maybe it's something that it's calling your attention, you want to work on with. So I think those would be my recommendations.
I think it's a very helpful recommendation. So make sure that this is the program you really want to do, and reach out to other students that have done it or are in the same situation to discuss this further, to really look into the specifics of the program. So that's really, really helpful, Cristy. Thank you so much.
Can I say something else?
Of course you can, Cristy.
Sometimes, like when you hear about Leiden Law School, you know how important this university and also the prestige that university has. It can be intimidating when you are not from a big country, or you're coming from a country that maybe is not, it's not a speaking English country, or it's a small country, or it's a developing country. But what I want to assure is that it's always a possibility. It should not stop you for applying to this program, to apply into the university. The university will help you in everything you need. Doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter where you come from. There's always willing to help you. So don't hesitate to apply, regardless your background, regardless the language you speak, regardless where is your situation. The university is really, the university in general, and also the people from the program will help you in the different needs that you will have. So
yeah, wonderful. Yeah, no, thank you very much for saying that. And Cristy, thank you so much for joining us despite your busy schedule. Really appreciate it. And please stay in touch, because we hope to at one day to meet you in person again in Leiden. And to everyone who has watched this video and is considering enrolling in the program, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can check out our website. You can also, we can connect you to former students. We can also connect you to the current batch of students who are doing the program as we speak. And that all is there to help you to make your decision. So feel free to reach out. And to Cristy, I would like to say thank you once again. It's so lovely to reconnect. and to hear what you've done, and your career has been truly impressive since graduation. Absolutely wonderful. And keep the good work going. And please stay in touch, because we like to stay in touch and know what the next steps of your career will be.